You're watching The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the God. We are The Breakfast Club. We got a special guest in the building.
Got that special guest intro. That's what's up, man. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yes.
No
Good
beef
to be
here.
Kenan Thompson.
Word. All peace, all love.
He actually
Word.
just
Good
came in
morning.
here trying to stunt on us. He said, how many years y'all been on?
Nah, I was trying to. I'm like,
He said,
congratulations,
because I've
man.
been on
That's
15
big.
years. And
I
you
mean,
still
that is true.
Longest
You know what I'm
running,
saying? But,
longest
like,
running cast member of SNL.
Yeah.
That's true, man. His story, man. His story.
Do you feel like you ran your course?
I mean, it's a lot of sketches, but I don't. There's no other show like it. You know what I'm saying? So it's very comfortable for me there.
But let's go back. How did Kenan get his start into acting and comedy?
I started doing theater in Atlanta.
At what age?
Pretty young.
13, 14.
I mean, I remember doing the gingerbread man at like age 5. You know what I'm saying?
Gingerbread man.
You were the gingerbread man?
Yeah.
What did you have to do?
I had to run around saying, "You can't catch me."
That's it?
I'm the gingerbread man. They had like a little makeshift oven they were trying to put me in. It was a church place, but like it was always a thing, either at school or at church or at theater school in Atlanta. Atlanta's got good theater schools downtown and whatnot.
What took you to acting, though? Because, during that time, there's basketball, there's football.
I mean, I did all of that. You know what I'm
doctor.
saying? It just, acting was the thing that kind of stuck with me throughout it. Like, by the time I got to 10th grade, I was like only 5'2", so like sports was kind of
out, yeah.
a little bit by then. But
It was your passion?
yeah, one of them. I mean, I played instruments and all that stuff too, but like, I love making people laugh, and me and my brother always go back and forth quoting "Coming to America" for days and days and days, and it was just one of those things.
Are you considered a quote unquote comedian?
I mean, I guess technically because I do so much comedy, and I'm the longest running cast member on SNL now, so like I'm going to be a comedian regardless. But like me personally, yeah, I consider myself more of an actor because when we were in high school and we were writing our own plays and we were doing training with like my youth ensemble of Atlanta, under the tutelage of the great Freddie Hendricks. All those plays was mad serious. Teenage AIDS, South Africa, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
We were writing them ourselves, so it wasn't a whole lot of comedy going down at that point. It was only stuff that I was getting paid for that I was, made to do comedy or whatever, Nickelodeon and all of that. So, I was, even in those plays, I was still getting like the funny line or whatever, just because I just had that kind of personality.
What's the funny line in the Teenage AIDS play?
You know what I'm saying? Stay at home. Yeah, not too much funny in that one, but South Africa, there's something funny about that. Not really.
What was that line? You're afraid to do it now.
Ain't
It was a different era back then.
Right. I was just thinking about that, man. Like, I was wondering, like, how many movies can really get made these days?
Yeah,
Because everything's so touchy.
Yeah.
Like, it was something real light I was thinking of earlier. I can't remember what it was, but anyway.
People look back now and say, man, they did that in the movie? That was really actually very politically incorrect and wrong. And
Yeah.
when we look back at those...
I don't know where comedy is headed because, 5 minutes into something, you're going to offend somebody.
We were talking about Revenge of the Nerds, right? And how
that was
he
crazy.
dressed up as somebody else and
He raped somebody.
Oh, he ate a
had sex
apple.
with the girl because she thought it was her
Oh,
boyfriend.
yeah, the Darth Vader costume.
can't do stuff like that.
Yeah, you can't do that. You can't.
Definitely
You
can't.
shouldn't have been able to do it back then.
And she was like, oh,
But
you're
yeah.
sexy.
Yeah, like all that tomfoolery is out the window. So I don't know where comedy movies are headed.
I was watching Back to the Future, and Biff was trying to rape George McFly's mama, Marty's mama, in the car.
Yeah.
You don't remember that?
No.
The 80s was
Oh, I
very
do
aggressive.
remember that.
Yeah.
Overly
Goodness
aggressive.
gracious.
Or Grease with Danny Zuko and Sandy in the car.
I don't remember
Yeah,
that.
it
When
was
she
just a lot
tried
of
to-
rape culture, I guess.
A lot of rape
70s
culture.
and 80s.
Yeah. Now all that. When did
Thank
you get,
God that's changed,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
That's what we get into.
There's no
with
funny
all
in that.
Yeah, right.
Now all that. When did you get that role?
I was 15.
15 years old. So you was a child star. How did you not go crazy?
I mean, at 15, you're not really that much of a child anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had my childhood pretty much, and then I put it in my mind I wanted to start working. It's better than cutting grass,
Yeah.
I was just like, let me, see where this is going. Like, once I did a commercial that paid me, when I was like 12 years old, paid me like $800, I was like, yo.
This is it.
Right. That is true, though. You see a lot of those tragic childhood star stories of they started off like this, but then they got into drugs and partying at a young age. And so somehow I'm sure you had a good family.
1,000%, yeah. My family and I are very close. There's a lot of us, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like one of the only ones that's doing what I'm doing. Like my brother's in it too, but like nobody's famous. You know what I'm saying? So we all keep it very real around the holidays, and there's no point in me like trying to act like I'm above and beyond anybody else. So it's always been like that for me. So I've just always been very level-headed and grounded and trying to pass it on to my daughter. You know what I mean?
Well, you was around one of those young girls with like Amanda Bynes.
Yeah, when she was like almost 10 years old. You know what I mean? It's unbelievable. But I mean, like I said, different people have different paths in life. But I guess she's making a comeback now, so that's positive. You know what I'm saying? But for me, yeah, I was already pretty much like set in what I thought of myself. You know what I mean? As far as like I wasn't discovering and trying to like reach out to this and see if I like that and reach out to that and see if I like that. As far as like drugs and partying is concerned, I just kind of already knew.
You knew what your drug of choice was?
Exactly. I was dead. You know what I mean? I was always
Gingerbread.
dead. Yeah, gingerbread.
Now, we're doing SNL so long. Do you get tired of doing sketches? Like, where do you get your inspiration from for doing it so long?
I mean, the beauty of SNL is that it's very current. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people just start popping up in life, like LeVar Ball.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And, you know, back when I first started, it was Star Jones. You know what I mean? It's just like different people in walks of life or whatever that give you the opportunity to kind of like do an impression of them. But as
Star
far
Jones
as
was
like
that the
sketches is concerned, it's tough. You know what I mean? Because you can only do so many voices, so many characters, and especially to try to keep a positive light on the culture. You know what I'm saying? There's only so much you can really do. So it helps when, you know, as long as Steve Harvey keeps getting jobs, I still got sketch ideas. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever it is. But
Does anyone ever get mad at you?
Or step to you?
nah, I mean, you know, at first, but like once they realize it's not out of malice, like me and Steve had that conversation. Like, I went
What
to
was
do
that
his
conversation
show
like?
in Chicago.
Put your
and-
Steve voice, your Steve
Yeah, at
Harvey
first
voice.
he was like, "Hey man, you better knock it off, bruh, cause like a lot of people telling me, man, that you know I got street friends, you know, and all my street friends are telling me you was clowning me, man. I just want to let you know I ain't no clown." I'm like, "Yeah, I know you're not a clown. Like I know you. You know what I mean? Like some people aren't aware how much you really know them. Like I've known him since the Steve Harvey days, and we did that show like 5 times. Me being me and Kel, and in that time you watch people and you can, you know, get their traits, especially when they big and they have voices like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Hey.
Is it in your
I'm
contract?
listening to hip hop. I like old school. You know what I mean? You just got that kind of a voice, and like that, it just rings in your ears like that. So it's like a tape recorder. You just mimic it and give it back. Especially the longer you know a person, and then as they continue to work and everybody else starts to get familiar with it, the little nuances, everybody else can start picking up on it too, and you know they can celebrate the character a little more once they know the little subtleties. You know what I'm saying?
Is it in your contract that you have to play every black person on SNL?
No, but that's how society is making it out to be. Like, you can only be your culture, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, before, I always had it in my mind to just kind of do whatever. That's why I did that Reba thing. And I was like, I feel like I have a Reba McEntire impression, you know, because she's always like, "Hey, I'm Reba." I'm Reba.
That seems like it would insult women, though, to have a guy impersonate them, whether it was Star or...
I mean, yeah, I guess as far as like looks is concerned, but you know, just being like a performer and like hearing a tone from somebody, like that's what it was.
Do you ever feel like the token black guy on SNL?
No, I mean we have several now.
So now,
We're good. But yeah, I mean, you know, I'm sure being the only one in any situation is a little tough.
Yeah.
And I was solo dolo flying for like 6 years or whatever, but I never felt like tokened. You know what I mean? I always
did you
felt
feel
I
like,
was
come on,
holding it
guys,
down.
y'all got to bring in some more black people, though?
Yeah, but I mean, it's not so easy to find ones that's ready. Like, that's how I got into all that controversy about black female performers being on the show and all of that. It ain't the easiest show to do, you know what I'm saying? And like a lot of black performers, a lot of them come more so from stand-up comedy than improv houses or whatever. And the improv houses are way more identical to how the show really is. So what I said, I mean, you know, my 3rd year in, they were sending me audition tapes or whatever, and I was watching them. So by like year 8, 9 or whatever, I was like, you know, I guess feeling a little cockyish or whatever, but I felt like I could speak my mind and people would know what I'm saying.
You said black women are trash.
That is not what I said.
Is that what it is?
That is not what I said, but that's how they took it.
Right.
What I said
What
was
did
they
you
were.
say?
I said the show was having a hard time finding ones that are ready to do the show, and they took it as black women can't do SNL or black women are trash, like you said, you know what I'm saying? And like that's not at all what I said. And if I was able to like go further, it'd be like, because you know, if they are ready to do show, they probably already working or they probably already got a job. It's just slim pickings like that,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? And that's all I was saying.
Yeah, it's interesting that Tiffany Haddish is the first black female stand-up to ever host SNL, and it seems like in the whole history of SNL, how did that just happen?
By the way, Tiffany got turned down at SNL too. She tried out. She was one of those black women who tried out.
She did audition, and unfortunately, it didn't go her way. But like, it's not unfortunate because look where she's at. You know what I'm saying?
Actually worked out for the better.
It's not unfortunate on me neither that they
Right.
try to make me a villain when I'm not, because we got Leslie now, you know what I'm saying? We had Sashir and Che's in the house, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, it's whatever. Like if I got to be the bad guy to hold the door open, then that's what it is. I just wish people didn't misunderstand what I was saying.
Well, that's the world we live in. We live in a world now. People don't care about what you actually said. They want to go off what they felt you said.
1,000%.
Oh, the headlines, yeah, absolutely.
And I'm still like, you know, I thought I had learned that lesson because I got misquoted when we did Fat Albert. You know what I mean? And they were telling me like, all right, well, next time I'm just going to like be very clear in what I said, and I thought I was doing that. But
What'd you say during the Fat Albert? I missed that one.
the Fat Albert one was, they asked me how I felt when I first got the job, and I was like, well, honestly, in my mind, I didn't know if I wanted people to like run up to me for the next 10 years and call me fat.
And go, hey, fat.
No, just you know,
fat?
just on some personal like fat feelings type shit. You know what I'm saying? And I was like,
Feelings?
Are you
I
sure
was
those
just like,
those are your own fat
like,
insecurities,
Fat
Kenan?
Albert, like it's cool, you know what I'm saying? But like I know my people, like they gonna be like, hey, fat boy, you was in the Fat Boy movie, you know what I'm saying? And it was like, I don't know, but that's all I said. I didn't say like I didn't want to do it. I just was like, I don't know if I want that to happen, but you know, whatever. Like those are those choices I guess you got to make when you take on a role.
Did you work closely with Bill Cosby for Fat Albert?
I mean, close enough. He was there for like the first day and then the day we shot and the last day. And then promoted.
Any of the stuff that we hear now about Cosby, did you see any of that or anything that looked a little strange?
I mean,
peculiar?
the closest thing to it was like what Lisa Bonet said about like sinister energy. But
Really?
a little bit. I mean, you know, he just has a presence, you know what I'm saying? And like me, I'm very down, you know what I'm saying? And I'm very chill, in my opinion. But some people like come to set and they're, you know, above that. And like they want people to know that this is my set and this is my idea and this is my this and my that and blah, 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 blah. And he was very much like, you know, he just seemed like a very powerful type, sinister type dude.
Sinister's a strong word. Sinister is like evil.
That's like villain.
I mean, just because it wasn't the joke cracking, you know what I'm saying, that you're used to hearing from
Were you
stand-ups. It
disappointed?
was just like very straight and like trying to figure it out and like looking above and like making sure everybody's recognizing and this and that and the other. It wasn't no like, how you doing there, bud? None of that shit.
Let me
Was that
make you a drink.
disappointing? Was that disappointing to you?
He said, let me get a drink, you fool.
Yeah. I mean, you know, anytime you meet, you know, a hero and it doesn't go according to your expectation, it's always going to be somewhat of a letdown. And like, you hopefully try to let that slide the first time, being like everybody could have a bad day or whatever. But then you see how people like put on a persona and then they are and how they are in real life or whatever. And yeah, it wasn't what I was expecting.
How did his allegations affect you, if at all?
I mean, it affected me because, yeah, if he's guilty, that's horrible. And I feel my heart goes out to, you know, all those victims. But just my blood, sweat, and tears, man, you know what I'm saying? Like, I had nothing to do with that. And I want people to still be able to appreciate Fat Albert because, you know, we worked really hard on that movie. And we had a great time doing it. Like the cast, like the gang. We all had, like, mad laughs, you know what I'm saying? So,
Once Bill Cosby left.
I mean, in between, too, because nobody really knew, you know what I'm saying? It was just like, we were all still like, yo, Bill Cosby, like, this is a dream come true, you know what I'm saying?
No, I
And,
mean
like,
just because he
that
wasn't
whole
very
shit.
friendly and.
Yeah, but he wasn't even around that long. He came that first day and did picture tour or whatever, and then the next time he came, it was just me and him doing a scene or whatever, and that was a longer day.
Why not just lose weight so they wouldn't call you fat after Fat Albert?
Yeah, you know, that would have been the smart thing to say.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But like me just being honest, thinking that you could just be honest in an interview, which you can, you just still have to like watch what you say because you don't ever want to like just feed the machine with some bullshit. And that's what they did, you know what I'm saying? And it's a shame because I was talking to a brother, man, I thought the brother would like feel me on that, but he felt like putting that headline out there to like grab some ass.
Was he fat?
Nah, it's just skinny dude. I think skinny, nerdy dude. But
Did you have to gain weight for that role?
no,
Fat suit.
They put a fat suit on me.
Got you.
And, you know, that was complimentary or whatever. But, you know, still, I've had my, like, life issues with, like, weight and stuff like that. So, in my mind, I just didn't know if I wanted people just running up calling me fat.
What you mean
Fat
life
Albert
issues?
was cool, but, like, yeah.
People been joking you all your life for being big?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I haven't been, like, overly big. But when you are big at those times, yeah, there's going to be some cracks.
Some cracks. Charlamagne, he talks about, when he's talking about big people, he calls them, what do you call them? Fat asses?
Call them fat.
Call them fat.
That's the term for it. What you mean?
And people are highly offended by him calling them fat and they need to lose weight. And he's
what's
on
the
bigger
term?
people all the time.
What's the PC term?
I have no idea.
Like,
I guess probably not to comment on other people's weight at all.
exercisely challenged?
Really.
I guess not to comment on
You're right,
appearance at
'cause-
all,
Yeah, but it's not healthy, and everybody knows it's not healthy. So
could
why
be-
wait and let the doctor tell you that you're gonna
right,
die?
Right. I don't
So you
mind
gotta say
encouraging
die.
people to live a healthier lifestyle for sure.
Did you learn
That's
it?
important.
Did you-
I did learn it. Like, you know, my wife is big on that, so she's big on passing it to my daughter too. So like, anytime we go out to eat, I try to make sure like I'm not ordering stuff that she'll look at my plate and want to like eat my plate as opposed to like eating her veggies and stuff like that. So yeah, it's you know, it's life changing for sure. But you got to make that decision amongst yourself, because people can tell you a million times and then you still go out to McDonald's late at night when nobody's looking. You know what I mean?
Yeah, people have complicated relationships with food, and we can't judge what's going on in somebody's own life when we don't know. People have all kinds of issues, family problems. People are. Cypher Sounds up here. He talks about his food addiction. There's women that have issues because they just had a baby and they're trying to lose weight, and it's hurtful when people have things that are negative to say about your weight, not knowing what's going on.
Absolutely. It can definitely be hurtful. So, you know, all I can say is, you know, encourage people to be their best selves.
Right, that's
the only
it.
thing you can do now.
In a positive way.
Absolutely.
Now,
What
it
did
was
you learn from Bill
interesting
Cosby?
What did I learn from him?
Yeah.
I mean, you name it. Like, I've learned a lot from him. You know, he was like the first person I ever impersonated, just because he was like the first comic I ever came to know, because he was clean. He was one clean dude, and right behind him was Sinbad. And that was like when I was growing up. You know what I mean? So I learned like what it looks like to like run a production. You know what I'm saying? And what it looks like to like take your idea and have people like take it seriously and like all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? And then after that whole experience, I like looked at his website, and his website is like 5 different archives. Like, his actor part of his life is like 10% of his website. He's got like his vineyard, his, you know, sportingness, and his, you know what I mean, like all kind of different things that make up William Cosby and all of that. And I was like, oh, well, that's interesting. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know, being a father, being a family man, this, that, and the other, like all those things up until the curtain got snatched back.
Yeah.
It's interesting to me how you said that when you do your sketches, you want to make sure that people know you're not making fun of black people and you're not trying to show them in a distasteful manner. Has there been times, because I know when Dave Chappelle had his show and he had issues with feeling like people were laughing more at black people than with the joke, have there been times when there's been sketches and you're like, this is not appropriate to do, I don't feel comfortable?
I mean, there's been moments, I think, when we like farming moments, but hopefully by the time it makes the show, like I'm pretty comfortable with it. I think, like, even if we did like step on some toes, it should be like minor toes and not like,
No major
man, you
toes.
are pulling the culture back 10 steps type toes. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like I'm very conscious of that when I try to write stuff.
And it's got to be hard being the only black guy in there, because a lot of times white people are just culturally clueless and they don't know what is offensive, so they just, hey, you know, let's throw this out there.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's a broader audience than, well, I guess, what I grew up in or what most black people grow up in. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it was all about like catching up with all the references. Like, start listening to classic rock and all this. You know what I'm saying? And like trying to like really understand like the broad spectrum of like American culture, because like I got the minority side. Like, we good on that side. Like Latinos, like whoever. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm very familiar with all of us. But as far as like YouTube references and all that, like, you know, I had to do my homework. So that was more tough than like feeling, you know, they're being insensitive to like a black thing. I was just like, they probably just don't know. You know what I mean?
I feel like it's changed now to like hip hop is pop culture. So you even look at like that song Pete and Chris did, the Don's playing over God's playing.
Yeah.
Allegedly SNL didn't get it.
I mean, yeah. I mean, there's, you know, all kind of reasons why things shake out the way they shake. You know what I'm saying? Like, but if that's what they said, they don't get it. I feel like they know who Drake is and they know that song and all of that. I think they might have just wanted to figure out a better way to do it, maybe, than the way they read it, maybe. Like, maybe it needed to be tightened up in a certain kind of way or whatever. They probably going to be mad at me for saying that, like, you know, Pete and Chris, but whatever. They put it out, so it's out now, you know what I mean? So everybody should be happy. Like, you know, Pete got his idea out, and Chris got his idea out. You know, and SNL, like, has their people putting things out that is being responded to in a great way. So hopefully everybody's happy in that situation. But if I had to guess why it's not like on TV first and just like leaked into the world first, that would be my guess. Like it might have went a different way on Wednesday.
Gotcha.
Now,
Needed to.
now you talk about SNL and you're very successful, but do you think it stunted your growth at all by doing SNL so long, not doing other things possibly?
Not really. Only because I've been doing other things kind of the whole time. The only thing that kind of slowed down was like movies and stuff, just because the movie business is so strange nowadays. And yeah, there's few and far between. Like they either making like Black Panther or they making like super tiny comedies or whatever. There's no like, you know, 48 hours type stuff going on anymore. And that's, you know, not as interesting. You know what I'm saying? Like I'd rather like spend the summer with my fam and like, you know, play with the little girl and all of that.
How old's your daughter now?
She's 3.5. She'll be 4 in June. So yeah, she's growing fast on me, man. And you know, that just doing that, I would much rather do that than to be chasing the tail of like, you know, please make a movie with me type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like once we get to that point, if they want to do it, we'll do it. If they don't, it can't be your whole life. You know what I'm saying? Like I one day want to flip into like doing producer work and putting other people to work. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to being like, please hire me guy for the rest of my life.
Right.
I'm not really into that.
Not to mention, Cal keep talking about Good Burger Part 2. You don't want to do that at this stage of your life, do you?
I mean, yeah, why not? I mean, if people want to see it and they support it, it's only a good thing. You know what I'm saying? It's not like it's going to, you know, hold me back. It's all love. Like,
And you probably have fun making it.
Heck yeah. Like, that's my childhood as much as anybody else. When they run up to me and be like, yo, man, you my childhood. I'm like, yeah, man, thank you.
That was mine,
my
too.
childhood as well. You know what I mean? Yeah, so I'm glad that you appreciate that because, like I said, it's our blood, sweat, and tears out there. And anytime it's appreciated, it's appreciated. So
The whole cast of all that was just on Wild 'N Out. How was that?
that was great. I surprised them all. They didn't know I was coming. I decided, like, at the very last minute to do it. Because first I didn't know I was going to be in town, and then it you know, happened that way. So I figured I would just surprise everybody, make a cute little first moment.
Did you hit everybody and make sure, like, okay, so everybody's there? You got all these?
I knew they were there. They were hitting
Gotcha.
me like, yo, I'm in town. I'm like, cool, y'all gonna have fun. And like, what can I expect? Is it gonna be crazy? I'm like, nah, just have fun. They gonna have a good time with you. Meanwhile, I'm out in the parking lot texting them all like from outside the studio. And they're all like, well, I wish I could catch up with you or whatever, but you know. I was like, well, you know, next time, you know what I'm saying, whatever.
It's being Hollywood on
In
him.
and out, yeah.
And all of them was like, he's been in Hollywood for the past 15 years.
Yeah. He's so Hollywood, but that moment was great. You know what I'm saying? When I came out and, you know, nobody knew it was coming. They was calling me Eagle. Like the eagle has landed, so nobody would know. I thought that was special. That's presidential.
Did it make you want to have some type of reunion? All that reunion?
I mean, we've had them, but
Okay.
like, it would be great to do like a show for sure. Like throw some characters up and do like a full production. Yeah, that would be fun.
You and Kel always been cool though, right? Y'all never had a falling out, did you?
I mean, there was some time where we didn't speak as much, and I think like the basis of that was people were trying to lump us together so much after the show. We kind of wanted to just show everybody there's a Kenan Thompson and there's a Kel Mitchell, you know what I'm saying? And y'all should appreciate us both as opposed to trying to like just hire us both without, you know, being able to hire us individually. You know what I'm saying? Like we're not going to be able to just go through life doing everything as a tandem. So I was big on that, and I'm pretty sure he was big on that too. And then for a while he was living in California and I was living over here, and so wasn't as much speaking or whatever.
And it was working out for you, but not so much for him for a moment.
Well, yeah, for a while.
Because you was working.
The
We
industry is
didn't
funny.
see him.
Yeah, I got blessed to get on the show, and he auditioned for SNL too. And, you know, I just ended up getting a job. So, yeah, that was funky. But
Did you hate on him a little bit? Did they be like, hey, we're going to hire you and Kel? And you was like, nah.
Nah. I mean, I was like, do your thing, you know what I'm saying? But he never made it past the callback or whatever. Like the first audition or something. Like I didn't see him at the callback. I mean, I don't know what his story was. I just didn't see him at the callback. So I was like, oh, man, I guess they didn't appreciate that brother at the moment. You know what I'm saying? But now, you know, he jumped back on Nickelodeon and he's like back on the rise and all that stuff. And he's been working, you know, forever in between. But it's good to have a steady gig to let people know that you're like in the game for real. So he's doing that now. I mean, we had like a long talk like a year or so ago and like reconnected, and everything is great. You know what I mean? His daughter's about to turn like a year old, and she just had a brand new baby. So it's like, yeah, we're all good. Like the fact that I know these things about his life makes me feel like, yeah, we're close, like we should be.
Now you did a sketch with Nick Cannon a long time ago, Inconvenience Store.
Yeah, Nick was in the cast and all that for a while.
Could you think you could do that? When did that sketch come out?
Man, it had to be like 99, 98.
You think you could do that
2000?
sketch right now, and everything would be all right, and nobody be
Tell
mad?
him what the sketch was. He was pretending to be a black woman.
Two ghetto-ish type convenience store worker ladies.
Which wasn't too far-fetched back then because you had some
saying, like,
stereotypes of black women.
Wanda.
Could you do
But
that
I mean,
now?
like-
You think you could do that now and people not get mad or upset?
I mean, I can't say people won't get mad or upset, but I think you can do it without it being like overly backlash if it's based in reality. Like it was very much based in reality back then. Like we didn't make those nails up, we didn't make those hairstyles up. Like that was a thing. Now, if we were doing that and it wasn't like, you know, a mirror to how life is for real, then yeah, we would have a problem. Like you're trying to bring people back, you're trying to do this and that and the other. Like if you took that character and put her in a boardroom or something, you know what I mean? Like, you know, that wouldn't really be a reality.
Yeah, also, if it's not funny, because then that's just not funny. You're like, what is the point?
Yeah, that's a huge point. If it's not funny, it's like, why are you doing it? But
have there been talks about you having your own spin-off show?
we've had talks. I've been through the developmental like a couple times with NBC, but just haven't landed on anything solid yet. So I think I'm gonna go like one more round with them and see like what we can come up with as far as like a sitcom is concerned.
Right.
That's the sweet life.
Right.
You know what I mean, 4 days a week, maybe even 3. Good money.
Does Lil Michaels really look out for his people like that?
Yeah, man. He's hands-on. I mean, any dude that's there 6 days a week when he doesn't have to be is, you know, he's focused, dedicated individual. You know what I mean? And he's there at every show, every dress rehearsal. He's on the floor. He's giving notes on every single sketch. Like, he could easily not do that. You know what I mean? He could easily delegate that to somebody else and be like, oh, yeah, I approve of what he says. But, yeah, he's very hands-on. So, yeah, the people that he likes, he tries to take good care of.
So how often are y'all rehearsing and practicing and going through things? How many days a week?
Rehearsal doesn't start till Thursday because we write on Tuesday night, and then the deadline is like Wednesday morning for the table read that afternoon. Wednesday at like 2 o'clock or whatever, and then we read like 40 sketches, and then pick 10, and then we start rehearsal on Thursday, and then we rehearse Thursday and Friday.
So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
That's pretty intense.
I mean, we
And
pitch
Saturday.
on Monday, but Monday's kind of an easy day because we go late in the afternoon, and we just have a pitch meeting for the host to make them feel like we're thinking about them for that week. And yeah, I mean, it's 6 days.
6 days a
like,
week.
it's 5.5, really. But yeah, it's a lot.
As the longest running cast member in SNL history, are you feeling pressure to be like a breakout star? Like to go get your own sitcom or hit
we all
movies?
feel-
Your own production
we all
company.
want to do that, yeah. I mean, for me, it's different just because I was in the game, I guess, before I got on the show, you know what I'm saying? So I always felt like I was just going to continue doing me regardless of what happened. But as far as like how it is for most people when they get on and it's their first thing, it's a giant platform to jump them off to other things. And yeah, I would love for it to go according to plan, which is like, yeah, we'll jump off in the movies, we'll jump off in the TV shows and everything. So yeah, of course I feel that pressure, but it's more of a goal that I would like to attain. But I will attain it when I feel like I'm ready to do so, if that makes any sense. You know what I'm saying? Just because like I'm not in a hurry to
When the
jump back
stars are
into like,
aligned.
yo, like hire me for this, hire me for that, let me audition. Like auditioning sucks. It sucks. Like you take a piece of paper and they're like, all right, let me get the whole feeling of this paragraph and what this writer was thinking and what this director wants.
Right.
Within 12 hours of getting it in my hand and doing my version of that, and hopefully they'll buy that over like the millions of people that want to do the exact same thing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like I try to approach it a little differently. Maybe that they'll approach me a little differently. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
As far as like, you want me to do it? You know what I do. If you think it fits, you just give it to me. You know what I mean? If not, we don't need to be wasting each other's time.
Gotcha.
You'll be 40 this year. How you gonna celebrate?
Yeah, I have no idea. I'm gonna be at work. You know what I mean? That's how it's always falling down. My birthday's on the 10th, so it's always like in the middle, like right before the last show or whatever. And usually it's in the middle of the week, so it's like a Tuesday or something. I'll just be at work. You know what I mean? But
do you come in and there's like balloons?
Or something?
There's balloons everywhere and cake, and they try to surprise.
That would be nice. I mean, yeah, they give us cakes at work and stuff like that. But I don't know, like party wise, I don't know. It'd be cool to like do something like I don't know, like the World Trade Center, new place.
Yeah.
Like the
Observation deck.
Observation little deck. Yeah, they got like a back room up there. Want to do like a casino night or something, but I want to play for real money.
Right.
Then you go to jail.
Well, that's against the law.
When you think you're gonna hang it up? Or is that even in your plan?
Damn.
I'm talking about from SNL, not just in. Geez.
Oh yeah. I mean,
he's like, damn, am I gonna die?
like, damn, I'm gonna hang it up. Like,
When are you gonna give up
hang
on
it up
life?
at some point? Like, oh snap!
I mean, like
thought
this
I was
SNL.
gonna, like go to actual work. Give instruction for me. I mean, yeah. If I could do it for forever, I would. But you know, now I'm starting to feel like I can go ahead and let it go a little more because you know we got Chris in there now, and like Chris is young and solid, and you know he comes from, I think he's a Groundling, or is he Second City? I think he's Second City. But like I said, like those improv houses is the show. You know what I'm saying? So he came in. He's different. He's made to improv and turn that into a sketch, or take a bit and form that into a sketch and all of that. But that was the first time because when Che came in, he went straight to update, so it wasn't like a real cast film moment. You know what I mean? As far as like sketches is concerned. But when Chris got there, Chris can do anything that I can do. You know what I'm saying? So I feel a lot easier about letting it go probably in the next 6, 7, 8, 9 years.
That's a long time.
6, 7, 8, 9.
How much have contracts changed since you started? Because there's all these streaming services now, and I'm sure
it's ill.
there's
It's gotta be ill.
restrictions.
I mean, I don't know because I only see mine, and mine hasn't changed in the last 15 years. It's been the same thing. It's on TV or whatever.
Same amount of money?
No. Just
I'm about to say.
the same terminology as far as like percentages is concerned or whatever, or royalties and all that.
Got you.
And I don't do a lot of like music, digital music. Like I do a few things here and there, or whatever, but it's not like whole songs. If anything, it'll be like something clause, you know what I mean, or something like that, something small.
Right.
So I don't really pay that much attention to it, but like I know they had to find like like a percentage or like a dollar point for like the writers and all their royalties when they write stuff like that, and that's always been really complicated because we had to strike and then they were threatening another strike, like, you know what I mean? So they've been going back and forth as far as like writers' rights on the internet. I think they figured out like streaming dollars for like artists or whatever, like you get like a half cent for your streams on music or whatever. So that's clear, but what's not clear is how much the writers are getting.
Right.
So yeah.
My final question for you is, what would a good burger 2 look like?
I mean, it needs to look great. You know what I mean? It needs to look real and raw. And like Dan, the writer, had a great idea where I was coming out of jail because Ed put me in jail, and I thought that was funny. It's a little touchy because
Put you in jail
like
for
as
what?
far as like because he's an F up basically, he's a fuck up, and like something dumb happened, and I wound up in jail or whatever, and I was coming out of jail like that. And I'm like, yeah, that's raw, but. Starting out a movie in these days with 2 young black men as a star and one of them coming out of jail in the first 5 minutes is like, I don't know if that's
Very stereotypical.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
if that's gonna play, but in comedy's world is like, oh, that makes like very much good sense. But my point is, it needs to be real like that. I don't know if we're gonna start it off like that, but it needs to be like, yeah, the adult version of whatever it is. Not necessarily cursing or whatever, but like adult type situations and feelings and memories.
Veggie burgers now.
Right?
Yeah.
Bunless
Turkey
veggie burgers.
You know what I
bunless
mean?
burgers.
Yeah, do the protein style, like the lettuce wrap joint, and feel good about it. Protein shake wise. I don't know, man. I think we need to get Sinbad back in it. You know what I mean? I think we need to get everybody back in it. Carmen Electra, whoever.
Word.
All right, well, we appreciate you for joining us.
No, man, it's my pleasure, man. Thanks for having me. Like I said, I watch y'all on Revolt like almost every morning. Me and my daughter getting her dressed for school. I turn when the videos come on. Are slightly inappropriate for her.
Some of our talk is slightly inappropriate for her.
Yeah, but they bleep it, and she ain't really listening. It's really just for me. But yeah, y'all keep doing what y'all doing, man, because y'all doing it.
All right, well,
Thank you, my brother.
It's Kenan Thompson. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.